Okay, so here is part one of my slipper completed. It's in 3 parts. We do the garter stitch up to this point, and then part 2 is this front section, which is a rib stitch, and then part 3 is the ears, the eyes and the nose. So this is the front side. You can see the 2 seams. This is the sole, these are the 2 sides. We'll be sewing this back. We've got this long tail left over. We'll be sewing this back together for the back of the slipper. And now we're going on to part 2, sorry. And part 2 involves the sole, which continues in garter stitch. These 2 sections will be in rib stitch, and 2 colors. So we're going to have 4 stitches are staying the main color. The remaining 8 stitches are going to be our contrast color. These 2 seams and the sole stay the main color, and it gets continued on as a garter stitch. Now mine is about 5 inches. It's about 5.5 inches, but I'm going to sew it. You know, I've got this 1/2 inch for above the ears, and then this, 5 inches is this section. So I'm ready to go with adding the new colors, starting on the right side. Right, I've done garter stitch all the way up. Now here is where we start to use bobbins and intarsia knitting, and do not be intimidated by it at all, because you are going to be able to create these beautiful seamless color changes. Once you get this down in this simple slipper, and it's so easy. Sure, it's a bit more complicated than if you just had one piece of yarn to work with, but it's so easy and it's so effective. You'll be able to do, circles attached to triangles, attached to a box. You'll be able to do all kinds of crazy color work when you realize how easy this is. So bobbins. Now you can buy these bobbins or all kinds of different bobbins. I got these were on sale. I got them, I got about 6 for 99 cents or something like that. They were it looked like the package had fallen apart or something. So you just, wind them, and then you knit from them, and, the yarn will come out. They're fine, but you don't need to spend money. A lot of people use just a paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll. And what you do, or one of the best ways that I've seen anyway, is just cut it down one end, cut out a piece, cut out a section, and then I would actually cut this a bit shorter, and then make it into the letter I by cutting 2 pieces out of the sides. And obviously it doesn't, this is not a critical part of your project. So now you have a really easy bobbin to use. Just wrap your yarn, for however much you need, and honestly you really don't need much, because we're going to be using a bobbin for this side. This is your main yarn, so if you're working from the full ball of your main color, you're going to want to cut this now and just leave it, and we'll sew it in later, because you don't want to be lugging, you just want to cut it. So now you need a bobbin for this yarn's this is yarn that I've used before and tied together. I'm just going to sew up. You really don't need much, because think about it, there's 4 rows. We're going to do 4 stitches here, 4 stitches here of the main color. We're going to continue to do the sole in the main color, and then we're doing 8 stitches of the contrasting color, 8 stitches of the contrasting color. So it doesn't need much yarn at all. I'd say maybe slightly bigger than a golf ball size. If you just want to roll little balls of yarn and not have them on a bobbin, that's fine too. You can just work from little balls of yarn. So here's one bobbin. I'll use it on this side, and then I'm going to wrap up. Because I've already cut this, I'm just going to continue to use this, but I am going to put it on a bobbin because it's messy. I didn't have to cut mine because I wasn't working from the main ball of yarn. But so I've got that for that, and then we need one for the white. I've got a ball here for the, just about the size of a mandarin orange, say, for the sole. And then I'll have another bobbin for the white, and then I'll have this for the 4 rows.